Hi, everybody. It's Emily Aarons. Today, we're going to talk about how to attract high paying clients to your business. If you're somebody who, like me in the past, struggles to attract enough clients or enough of the right clients, or if you're shifting and you're pivoting from one client to a new client, share that in the comments. That has been me. I've had numerous iterations of who I want to work with and why I want to work with them. And as soon as that happens, and I go, you know what? I've kind of outgrown it. I'm ready to evolve and work with another clientele. Sometimes that happens over a course of years. And I've been in business personally for a very long time. And that soulmate client has evolved with me. So if you're new here, warm welcome. Thank you for being part of my channel. I'm so happy you're here. Every single Thursday, I do go live. So make sure that you do subscribe so you don't miss when I go live, because not only are we going to get a great conversation today, but we're also going to have a chance for some live coaching and channeling with me throughout this session. Today, and also, if you don't know, I'm Emily Aarons. I am best known as an energy healer, and I help conscious leaders to heal from burnout, to get in touch with their intuition, and to use that to get in touch with their purpose, and to use that purpose to soul their business to get more profits, right? So it's all about feeling good inside to then reflect that outside, and it all reflects in your business. That was the world's worst elevator pitch. You're welcome. Today, we're going to cover three things. The number one mistake that keeps clients from saying yes to you. Oof. The energetic shift that makes clients chase you instead of the other way around. And a simple strategy to attract high paying clients without hustling harder. So these are all things that I have personally experienced. I've also helped hundreds of other entrepreneurs find their own way to attract clients to them that feels really good, because the last thing we want to be doing is chasing after people, because when we chase, they will run. We don't want that. And I think that I think that there is actual saying that says whatever you chase will run. So let's stop that process. Let's interrupt it and become more of a magnet. So let's dive in. When you are here with me live, I want to see you, feel your energy. I know that I can see some people who are live. If you can hear me okay, just say hello. Let me know you can hear me okay. Let me know where you're from. If you're brand new, say so. If you've been around for a while, cool. If you want some live coaching or channeling, you can type that in the chat, only for folks who are live. If you're watching the replay, sorry, bad news. You won't be able to get it, but you can tune in for the next one, because every single week I do this. Let's begin with the number one mistake that keeps clients from saying yes. Oof. I've been there, and I will be the first to say I am not perfect. I don't just get a series of yeses. So I want to just demystify all of that for you. It's not that I put offers out there and I just get 100 million yeses all day, every day. It's not how it works. There are definitely seasons where my business is explosive and everything I touch turns to gold. I put an offer out there and I get a bunch of people saying yes to it. Likewise, the pendulum swings the other way too. I have had seasons where everything I put out there, it's like crickets. I'm wondering, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Is there something wrong with my offer? Did I price it incorrectly? And I'm left spinning my wheels wondering what happened. So I've been on both sides. It's the same coin. It's just two different sides of the same exact coin. And I really believe that those times that are tough, they're teaching us something. That adversity, those challenges, they're teaching us how to improve ourselves. And frankly, if you're not getting no's, I would imagine you're not trying hard enough. I get a lot of no's. And that's the other thing, is that we as entrepreneurs have to really exercise that muscle of rejection. We're going to get more rejection. Statistically speaking, we're only going to get 1 to 3% of our community list, whatever you want to say, saying yes. That means 99% of the time, people are saying no to us. It takes a certain mentality to be able to endure that kind of rejection year after year and keep getting up and keep getting yourself out there and keep trying new things and keep trying to give and serve from new angles and new ways of messaging. If you are one of those people, put in how long you've been in business in the chat for those who are here. Hi, everybody. I see Nancy and Jean and Autumn. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you all. My friends are here. um it just takes a certain mentality to be able to do that, and it's not for everybody. And so the number one mistake that's keeping clients from saying yes is your energy. And sometimes what happens, I'll take you through like the progression. Idea happens. What happens when we have this idea for ourselves and our business and how we can serve? What does our energy do? It goes like this. Woo! Yes! And it gets all sparkly and expansive. And oh my God, the possibilities. How many people could really transform their lives if they just had this amazing offer that I've just dreamed of? What? We get so excited. Feel that in your body, right? You know what that feels like. Jean's been in business for 6 years. All right. And I just realized I've been in online. I've had an official online business for 9 years. It's like kind of crazy, almost 10 years. Anywho, so the next place we go to is okay, we have this great, brilliant, sparkly idea. Our energy is like this, and our aura is expanded, and we're like this. And then we go into how are we going to sell this thing? What are we going to do? And for some people who are less experienced, they're like, I don't know, maybe I'll just post one time and see if people want it. And then nobody sees it, then nobody responds to it. And sometimes, even if you have a larger audience and you're not even that new, you do that. You post and you're not really getting a lot of responses. And so, what happens to this energy that you once had is it starts to kind of do this. And then you go into fear, you go into scarcity, you go into what if this doesn't work? What if none of this works? What if I die alone, penniless? On the street. Like, what is this life anyway? Why am I even trying? Nobody likes this. Who am I to even say anything? And you get into this constricted self-doubt. Ooh, feeling called out. If you're not getting no's, you're probably not trying hard enough. Ooh, Cynthia, hi. So that's what happens. Our energy starts out with this big shiny idea and this big energy, and then we start to constrict. So that is the mistake that we're making, is that we're not staying in that energetic frequency of the what else is possible. How does it get better than this? How can we stay in this place where our energy is still vibrant, even if we're getting no's, or even if no one's opening our emails or liking our posts or responding to our invitations? How do we stay this energized being? And so that's what is number two, which is energetic shifts that make clients chase you. So I want to share this little anecdote. I recently, at the end of the summer, I was really called to relaunch my Phoenix mentorship. It's a 9-month program. It's very high touch, awesome way to connect with your energy and heal from burnout, and then establish a new rhythm to create more profit in your business. I love it. It's a program I used to run years ago and stopped because of COVID, and we couldn't travel and do retreats like we used to. But then I thought I can still offer it without the retreats. And it also kind of is a lower price point if we're not doing all those retreats, which I might bring back, by the way. Anywho, I started getting in that energy. I was all excited, amped up. I'm like, oh, it feels really expansive. It feels really good. I really want to do this. And then there was this part of me that recognized that part of the output that I do, posting, live video, emails, podcast episodes, advertising, collaborations, the list goes on. I do a lot of that output in order to attract people to me. But something crazy happened, and I thought, well, what if I didn't do all of that? What if I simply just tuned into my energy, tuned into the energetic frequency of this amazing program and the type of people that would really benefit and thrive in this program? What if I marketed this completely ass backwards and just did it from the standpoint of energetic alignment? Because that would be like, I would be like my own case study. Like, could I sell it without being like the song and dance version of like launching and all the stuff that I would do because we've all been taught I will start with myself to say in order to sell such and such, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And for me, I'm an overachiever. So I would say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, like all of the rest of it that we didn't even know we were going to do. But because I am going into like performance mode, I tend to overdo it, which leaves me very tired and depleted and burnt out after a launch, which is really not a supportive way to run a business and it's not sustainable. So I thought, what if we mix it up and I simply, because like here's the other thing. I'm very energetic, but I'm also super strategic and I'm very analytical. So I will always look at my results after a launch and I will analyze what went well, what did not go well, how could I improve, how was my messaging, how many conversations did I have, what did I literally do to get the result that I had. And thank you for all the hearts, everybody. I'm seeing hearts coming in, and Nancy's saying I could relate. I wanna know when I do my launch debrief that I put it all out there. I didn't leave anything undone. I wanna know that when that door closes for my launch, that I did every single solitary thing that I could dream of to encourage people to buy, okay? That's how I've always been. That's been my mentality. Like, do it all, leave no stone unturned. But that's left me pretty exhausted and tie-tie. So for this, I decided I'm just going energy. I'm not even gonna make a website. I'm gonna have a Google form that is quite ugly. It's a Google form. And it's gonna be based on energy. I'm gonna send personal invitations to a handful of folks, see how those go. And by the way, if anybody on here has the courage to send personal invitations to be in a program, you get my whole heart because it takes a certain level of courage and confidence to be able to reach out to people individually, not like in a big crowd and online and they can just ignore you, but individually, like a person to person through DM, through voice message, through email, and genuinely connect with somebody and invite them to be in a program because that's a kind of rejection that can sting. And part of what I do is I don't make it about me. I make it about them. This is about them. How can I serve them? Why do I think that this is a great program for them? Because blah, blah, blah. So the energetic shift that makes clients chase you is your ability to hold that vibration. So I'm going to give you a little tip, something that I did with that Phoenix launch that really worked well. I can relate. Okay, great. Hi, friends. I see there's Millie is here. Cool. Nice to see you. And as you guys get here, please say hi. If you have a question, ask the question. I'm here to take your questions. And I'm here to give coaching. I'm here to do channeling if you'd like. So you're not interrupting me. Just like throw it in the chat, and we're gonna it'll be conversational. So one of the things that worked really well for me during my Phoenix, I don't even want to call it a launch because it didn't feel like a launch. It didn't look like a launch. It didn't smell or taste like a launch. What I did was I recorded a voice memo to myself using Voxer when I was in that heightened state. I think something in my intuition just kind of knew, like, we're going to do things differently. Let's try this angle. I left myself a message when it was coming in, when I was fired up and I was excited and I was like, this is who I am. This is who I'm serving. This is the energy of the program. And I'm like connecting to the energy of like when it's done, how will they feel? How will I feel? What will be the transformation that happens through this 9-month period with a group of like-minded women? And I connected to that and I left myself a very long voice memo. Now, as you can imagine, you know, sales are not coming in at first. One person says yes, then another person says no, then another person says no, then another person says no. Then somebody says maybe, but then they're waiting and they didn't say yes. Like there's all of this. And so what happens is we go into this like launch free fall where we're like, I don't know what's happening. And we do this with our energy. We bring it in, it gets so tight, we get worried. And again, everything is a mirror. So remember, what we put out there, it does come back to us. So, what I needed to work on, and what I'm always working on for the record, because I'm a Cancerian, I'm very emotional, I'm highly sensitive. So, like, my emotions on any given day can be like this. So, part of like the real work that I do, not just like marketing and strategy, the real work that I do and that what you can do is hone in inside. How can I harness my most potent energy today? That is the beacon. And so that is what I started to do. I left these voice memos for myself when I made a sale. Oh my God, more are coming in. It's going to be amazing. Like hype woman. I was my own personal hype woman. So that's how I worked through when I had those dips in my energy. When I was like, oh my God, is this even going to be possible? Should I cancel it? Does it not work? Like, does anybody want it? Nobody cares. Like when we go into that, because we're only human after all, there's ways that we can work through that that are not just healthier for us and help us regulate our nervous system, but also put out the vibration into the universe that we want to put out there. And you would be shocked if I told you that the times where I had like my biggest dips and my lowest lows, when I would listen to my own voice note to myself, it would lift me back up. And then suddenly I was getting a text message, I was getting a DM, I was getting an email reply, I was getting information that came back to me in the form of like a yes or a maybe or tell me more. So it can have that immediate reaction. A beautiful Cancerian, I didn't know. Me too. Oh, cool. That's awesome. And the third thing is the simple strategy to attract high paying clients without hustling harder. I think what you're hearing me say is exactly that. And I will say, my Phoenix launch, I was hoping for and expecting a higher volume of people. So I want to be real about that. I was like going for big air. I would love to have like 20 people in a program. That would feel so good. It felt very aligned with my energy. I felt very strongly about 20 people in the program. And I wanted to give out some scholarships. That felt really good, felt really aligned. And as it was kind of progressing, I felt myself contracting. And so part of why enrollments were lower because I was contracting. And part of that, I look back and I go, well, thank God that I only have 5 people are in the program. And thank God, because it's the perfect number. I've had a few 6-week programs with about 5 people in them, and it's such a great number. I don't know what it is. It's just like such a it's like it's so intimate and so close. And where my energy is, I'm beginning to author my first book. So I actually need a bit more space to be able to think and to work. And there's other things going on in my life. I'm volunteering as a soccer coach. I have, kids pick up early. So I only have so much time. And so when I look back, I go, wow, that really worked out for me. That really worked perfectly because holding a space for 5 people and the highs and lows of 5 people is incredibly different than holding a space in a container for 20. I have done 20. I think I've done up to like 30 in a group. It's a lot. And with 30, I even had like assistant coaches that were helping me to keep an eye on everybody. It's a totally different animal. And so we can have an expectation to have a higher amount of sales and then go, oh, I didn't hit that. Also recognizing we might not know in the moment it's happening for us. We have to trust that it's happening for us. And that's what the practice is. And again, the amount of no's that you get and then the amount of programs that you've led, you get that experience so that you do trust. You go, all right, well, so I didn't go for, I was going for big air, but I didn't hit it. Let's go into why that happened. How can I do better? Or why was this happening for me? Why was this perfectly divinely planned for this season of my life? Because I would have overscheduled myself. What I asked for is to stay in alignment. I wanted to have space and time and spaciousness. And that's what I got. So I want to share that with you because not everything is okay. I get a vision. This is what's going to happen. And it happens absolutely perfectly. We oftentimes think, okay, well, I'm going to outsource my business strategy to this coach or to this program and let them tell me the right thing to do. And then I'll do it. And everything is going to work as planned. It never works as planned. It never works as planned. Coming from somebody who has planned, I don't know, hundreds of launches at this point in my life, I love that idea of adding that step to my launch practices, sending myself a potent voice message to hype myself up. Absolutely. It's one of the best things that I could have given to myself because we are emotional beings. And you know that feeling when you feel like defeated and you don't want to sell because nobody's buying anyway. You can talk yourself into such a tizzy where it's defeating and it's going to cripple you. Sometimes when I get into the why something didn't work, it becomes more self-destructive than self-constructive. Oh, for sure. But that's the personality of a lot of folks, especially newer entrepreneurs who take it personally. Like I can at times take sales very personally. What can I do better? What can I do more of? What did I not do good enough of? They don't like me as a person, as a coach, as a whoever, and make it be like, oh well, it had I was the problem. There are definitely times when I take things personally, but more often than not, I can take myself out of the equation like I do with my clients. If that launch were my client's launch, I would be completely emotionally detached, right? And so that's part of the magic that happens when you can get into energy alignment and you can kind of have that vantage point where you can kind of look at it as like an outsider, like looking down on your launch, looking down at that story. And how do we stay detached from it as if it were somebody else's business? What advice, if that were my client, what advice would I give my client who is in the exact same circumstance? Sometimes that even helps me. I'll ask that question. What would I say to them? How would I help them through this issue? How would I help them when there was no sales coming in? How would I help them to pivot? And like there's endless answers. There's never a right answer and a wrong answer. We are just testing things out. And I've personally been on the testing ground a lot. And it's like, if I mean, I make sourdough bread and there's three ingredients: water, flour, and salt. That's it. Three ingredients, but you can make an epic loaf of bread and you can make a terrible loaf of bread with the same ingredients. We're just changing like the amount of time it sits for or how much of those ingredients. And the same thing goes for our business. We have all the ingredients, but we're just playing with the dials and the amounts and like how it all works together. And I think that's what can be so frustrating is that it takes way longer than we anticipate. It costs more money than we anticipate. It can be super frustrating because we want our work and our efforts to have immediate benefits and payoff. And I want to say, usually the energy that I put into one launch is actually, excuse me, I'm having an energy shift here for everybody. It's not even for that launch. It's actually preparing for the next launch. And I used to launch like I don't know, 9, 10, 12 times a year. And I could see it because I launched so much that I could see that this launch was actually preparing people because the people who came into this launch, number one, actually the majority of those people bought in launch number 2 or 3. They didn't buy in launch 1. They came in with launch 1, but they didn't buy until 2 or 3 or maybe launch 4 or 5 sometimes. I've had people who were on my list for 7 years before they bought for the first time. Highly unusual. But that was part of that information, that data that I needed to go, well, I love that people want to stick around with me, but like, how do I transition people from not knowing me to knowing me and liking me and loving me and buying with me and trusting me and all that together in a shorter amount of time? That's how we can improve our content. But so my point is we're moving these different levers and we can't take it personally. And like we're trying to find the right levers to move when. And I have said I have done one launch successfully 5 times. The same launch, the same email, for the most part, same emails, for the most part, same exact content, 5 times, great results 5 times. 4 times. On my 5th time, it changed. Something changed. I don't know what changed. Something changed. When I look back, what shifted? Maybe it was me. Maybe it was the time. Maybe it was the environment. Maybe who knows? But that can be really frustrating when you do have a system that works and you're like, yes, it's finally doing what I want it to do. And then something changes, like you don't know it. You have to change something. Um, Such a great practice. How would I help my client? How would I help myself in the same way? Yep, all of that. So I'm happy to keep rambling and tell you more about my mindset, my strategies, how I use my intuition. Um, but part of this is we want to be able to attract the right clients and the ones that maybe bring in more money to us. And how can we shorten that time frame? How can we become that magnet? Part of that simple strategy of attracting high paying clients is that energy within yourself. So sometimes it just involves extra intention and attention to doing that exact thing. How often are you calling in that soulmate client in your meditation? How often are you calling in that client when you're looking at your income? How often are you creating content for a client in mind? How are you making it easy for that high paying client to say yes to you today? And I will share a sad story. Um, I was recently asked to be in this written interview. They give you questions, you just answer them, and then they publish it on an online magazine. And they had a final page that said, "Would you like to refer people to us?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll send some of my clients their way. That'd be really cool." Well, some of my clients, I don't even know what their website is. I go to their Instagram page, their website is not there. I Google them and all I'm seeing is their LinkedIn or their Instagram or their X or whatever, but I don't see their website. If I get to their website, then I see, well, how do they work with you? What is it that you do? And sometimes we're so in it that we don't recognize how difficult we're making it for our clients or strangers to then come in and buy with us. Like, can you make it easy? If somebody found you today, could they effectively buy something with you? Could they effectively book a free session with you, a free call with you? Could they have a free experience with you? Could they find your social media? Could they connect with you? And I think that's like a very simple thing to share, but we undervalue the actual client process, that client journey that we want to take them on. We want strangers on the internet to find us and pay us $10,000. We better build up some trust pretty fast. So questions, comments, concerns, would you like me to channel for you? And if you'd like me to channel, let's talk about soulmate client attraction. Also, if you're in a position where you're attracting type A person client, but you want really to get type B person client, I can talk to you about that transition as well. And I just saw a stink bug fly in, which it's that season where things start to shift in the temperature in the house. Things start to get a little cooler, and the stink bugs come out of nowhere. Channeling everybody. Oh, Courtney's here too. Yay. All right. Here's my one thing, because I love channeling. You know me. I love channeling. Could you please ask a specific question? And I don't usually say this, but I'm going to ask you today because right now you are basically face to face with somebody who can really dive in and give you a great answer to a question. Do you want a great answer to a question, or do you just want general feedback? Think about that. So maybe it just takes you a minute, but try to compose a specific question that you're like, God, I wish I had the answer to this. And I know I just talked about don't outsource to somebody else to give you, I'm going to help you to find your way in. Um, Looking for information on my location. So I don't know what that means. And I'm gonna pull you guys a card on top of it all. I have my card deck, the Angels in Your Biz Oracle card deck. If you don't have it, get it. Wonderful cards that help you to get out of your head and into alignment, really. Oh, good. Some specific questions are coming in. I love you guys. Uh, Jean, will my new social media approach and new offers be what's on point? Okay, so now that I asked you for a specific question, I'm like, oh, does this make you think of like the magic 8 ball sometimes? I do a little bit feel like a magic 8 ball, but that's okay. So let's just see what you have. I'm gonna pull a card, but I'm not even gonna look at it. Where are you, Jean? There you are. New social media approach and new offers. So I'm just tuning into your energy. Your guides go, that's not what she wants to ask. She wants to know what's the fastest way to make some money. That's okay. We can do both. We can answer both. Because I mean, ultimately, that's the point, right? You nurture people and then they buy from you. Okay. So what I'm seeing, and also what I want to share for those of you who are on here or on the replay who are in the Phoenix mentorship, I just had a great call with my publicist today, shared some awesome insights. I'm going to share it with you guys in the Phoenix mentorship. It's my own coaching session. I'm the recipient of, but she gave really great insights and I think it'd be helpful for you guys. The reason why I say that is because Jean, part of what she said for me, I'm going to share with you, because what I'm seeing for you is sharing more of your personality, the highs, the lows, the personal life, not just you hiking and photography and traveling, but like your day to day, like you're fixing up your place, your cats, your like behind the scenes stuff, like not just face to camera, but maybe you have some time lapse stuff that you're working on a project. I like that for you. What was the question? Social media approach with new offers will be what's on point. I like that side of you. I want you to just continuously ask yourself how to make it easy for someone to buy today, because that's one of the issues is like, how do they get from that feed, that video, that information, that email to click buy, register? They need that process to be seamless. And part of what I want to invite you to do in Phoenix is to ask somebody, one of us, to go through and see if we can get there to the finish line successfully. And you can give us a coupon code or whatever you need to do to make it work, but like we need to be able to move through swiftly. They're saying like part of your customers, they want speed. They want to be able to get the information and just like go get on a social media, follow you, see what's going on, send a DM. Like if you have to have like automated responses, like here's my website, or just make sure that your links are really clear and visible as well. So yes, it's on point, and I don't know if what I said is also what you're planning. And my throat is sore for you. So this is like, this is really stretching you to be more visible. Even though you're doing a great job, this is like, there's a lot. So just like be gentle with yourself. Also, I would invite you to make a voice memo to yourself. Like, why is it so important that you use this strategy to help people right now? Why does it matter so much to you? Write it down, leave yourself a voice note to keep reminding yourself to keep going. Okay. Um, Nancy, am I in the right space to work with clients or do I need a different space, i.e., on the water? Okay. Hmm. Okay. Oh, Gene, I didn't even pull your card. Oh, clear your energy. Stop, drop, and realign to your highest, Gene. Nancy, so here's interestingly, manifestation, your manifesting machine. What I want to say to you, Nancy, is your guides are kind of calling you out on like this, like self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, I don't know if I can do it. Maybe I should think of something else. That it's like perpetually like you're kind of second guessing and changing what you want to do on a regular basis. So whether it's the location or it's the modalities or the type of clients you work, you're kind of always like in a changing period. You're not really giving yourself a chance to like land and go deep and like carry on your work on a bigger scale. Like you're stopping yourself from really getting yourself out there. Didn't we? I feel like we were going to work together at some point and then we didn't. And funny enough, my client and friend Courtney is here, and she recently was like, "All right, I want to like take the ball and run down the field. I need to know what the next like 10 steps are. I'm going to go do them right away." And she just put together her first um funnel for getting people who are wanting dual citizenship and like banged it out within like I want to say less than a week, and she took it and ran with it. Now she's like, "Can I just get like what are the next steps? I want an action plan." So I am going to be starting to offer those kinds of sessions for folks. So Nancy, if you wanted to do like an action plan session, 2 years ago. Oh my god, how has it been that long? If you wanted to do something like that, I could help you just so that you can stay where you are and keep going. So the question about the location, like water or no water, I think the one thing I like about the water is how your energy responds to it. When I think no water, I think this. When I think water, I feel that. I'm not the boss of you though. So you know this internally. I'm just validating whatever you already know, right? Courtney, tell me the action plan and I'll do everything you say. That is my kind of gal. Like all of the people who are like Courtney, please come on out because that's who I work best with because I move fast and I want people to move fast too. Here's the game plan. Now you go do it. Here's the next game plan. Now you go do it. Because the faster you are to take action, the quicker you are to receive feedback and to make money. She had her first upsell the other day. I was like, hell yeah. Okay, so Nancy, uh, I like how the water feels, is the short answer. Millie, am I on the right path with all I'm doing at the moment? Okay. And I'll pull you a card too, Millie. I want this one for you. Again, it's like, why are you second guessing yourself? This is the problem, the fundamental problem, which, like, thank goodness I'm here to help you all remember that you have innate wisdom. It's all in here that you don't need to ask me. If you're on there, you'll know. And so your guides are really leaning into say they have been whispering. They're like this. They've been whispering in your ear. You've been listening and you've been doing it. So when you continue to do that without second guessing or getting in your head, you're going to be fine. So, what they're asking you to do, Millie, is each and every day just tune in. There's a book that I recommend to clients. Excuse me. It's basically a glorified podcast. It's only like an hour and a half listen, maybe 2 hours. It's called Hiring the Heavens. So, Millie, go get that book, Hiring the Heavens. It's a way that you can hire your angelic team for a specific job. If you're looking to whatever you're doing in your business, hire a team that's the angelic team for that, as if you're hiring real positions. What's the job description? What is the criteria? What is the launch plan? What are the timing of things? I just thought back of I had this, I hired a quantum growth committee that I hired. And one of them was a PR person, and one of them was a visibility expert. So it turns out I've attracted a publicist, I've attracted a YouTube coach person. Courtney's helping me with my YouTube. I've also attracted a writing coach. So like I didn't like look up how do I do this and I'm getting stuck. I'm hiring, I'm outsourcing it to my angelic team to bring it to me. Okay. And it might not happen the second that you think, but it will happen. Thank you so much. I'll get the book. And they have told me that lately. Right, I'm just validating what you already know. And so that's part of it is just they're whispering you, you're telling you, you're getting the memo, you're doing the thing. So like to just keep you from like doubting it or second guessing or getting in your head or getting in a way, just keep doing what they are instructing you to do. You have an awesome team. and you're listening. But it might not be like the results might not be happening at the pace that you're wanting them because we're all impatient humans, but it's gonna work out. Courtney, if you have time, what is my greatest block towards growing a business and making great money? And what can I do to completely bust through it? Oh God, I love you, Courtney. And we'll talk about this tomorrow too, because part of like having an action plan and your perfect strategy is aligning to your true north. Like, what does it look like and feel like? What does happily ever after really look and feel like for you? Part of that vision, if you could just pop into that for 1 second, what does that look like? What am I aiming for? What does happily ever after look like? How do I feel? What am I doing? How do I spend my time? What's my energy like? What is my presence? Like, how do I feel when I'm in that state? How well am I doing that and embodying that now? That is a good question. So that's for everybody, but specifically definitely for Courtney, because there's part of you, and this is what I'm getting. There's part of you that's like, this is the way, onward. And then there's another part of you that's like holding on and like white knuckling it to the past and to safety and security. And there's a little bit of that, like holding on just because it's safe and it feels familiar. And then we all do this, which is, we cling on to what's familiar because we know it and it feels like it's the right thing to do. That path, we don't know what's going to happen over there. There could be like poisonous spiders and like, I don't know, trick floors that we fall through and die. We don't know what's over there. And so part of what's happening is you're at this precipice, which is why people find me. They're at a crossroads between this old way and really knowing and wanting to go a new way, wanting to feel more aligned, wanting to get in touch with their purpose and knowing their purpose so deeply and aligning that with all the profits that they can bring in. So part of this for you is like blessing and releasing the old way, the familiar way, and giving yourself permission just to take the next step forward in the new direction. And what does that look like for you today? Because I think you're getting too caught up in your head about like projecting yourself like 10,000 steps ahead that the first step feels daunting. So you'll get there, but we're just going to incrementally shift one little thing at a time. I mean, I'm looking at that the same way I'm looking at publicity. Like, okay, I got like 3 articles out this week. Okay, are they in big, like, Goop magazine? No, they're not. They're little ones. But all those little ones, they're like little ladders, and we just climb our way up until someday, one day, somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, we want you to be our feature story and a cover for blah, 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 important magazine. And it's like, wow, it just happened overnight. No, it didn't. So that's part of what's happening. It's that you're not blocked. And I wanted to take that out. You're not blocked. You're in a transition where you're still holding on to the past way of being, not fully embracing that next step and making it seem too big. So I'm really glad we're going to meet about easy next steps. You had a card here, up leveling, breathe deeply into your expansion. Boom, mic drop. So just like letting your system know it's safe to expand. It's safe to take this next step. Connecting in your heart, connecting in your body, feeling like it's okay. Because when we feel like we're unsafe, we're just going to hold on for dear life. So regulating our nervous system. Oh my God, it's